Shai, Brakatay Shai, Paul Halal, How Bashim Shai, that's all praises unto the Most High and His beloved Son, your enemy called Jesus Christ. I'd like to give double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone and rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect in the gospel for all of them, staring every how Bashim Shai, Reverend may be. This is an article here which encouraged me to go back into. It was based on the video that Apostle Elder Gabar had did. The brother Munada Zakbar had uploaded from a while back, pointing to the guillotines and persecution coming back in a big way on you tribes. Now, one person may ask, as it says here, why did the U.S. government purchase 30,000 guillotines? And it's because they're going to carry out a mass execution upon the tribes, man. You know, you Hebrew Israelites, and they make movies about this. Like, you watch the movie Red Dawn, Enemy of the State, The First Purge. You got different movies like that, etc., that they're pretty much doing experiments on our people. You know, like one quote was made by one of the elites. He said, look, man, we yearn for the day to get our hands on the Christians, which the real Christians are the Hebrew Israelites. All right, because we're the ones that has the anointed of Yahweh Bashim Shai. And only Israelites can be Christians, all right, which Christian just means anointed. But according to the Christian theology, they call themselves followers of Christ, which only people that can follow Yahweh Shai are Israelites, okay? So Christians, that's not a theology. That's actually a culture, so to speak, being anointed, okay? So it says here, a listener named Kay from Valley asks this question: could you please ask Congressman Richard Hanna why legislature authorized the purchase of 30,000 guillotines, which are being stored in key states across the country? What are they for? Who are they for? And why is it being kept secret? Right, because if it was made public information, people would start to have an outcry about it, because they'd be like, well, what are these people trying to do? Who are they? Like, they just ask the question, who are they targeting? And the key factor is the Israelites, mainly. Out of you so-called Negro, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they want the prophets, man. And also the 2/3 and other so-called religious organizations that believe in a higher power or that speak out against the government, they want you, man. Okay? So it says here, turns out that it says that this story isn't true, but it is true, because for the simple fact, people have seen them shipping them across different cargoes, etc. Okay? So they trying to debunk this thing, but that's what Esau Edom is trying to do. He's trying to debunk the fact that these particular things are secret, but they're out there. Because it says here, it says currently it's being spread through social media via internet by anti-Muslim publication refers to FEMA concentration camps. But we already know that America has FEMA camps, man. Alright, that's no secret. Beheading is coming back in a big way, and it's all in the scriptures. Okay? Let me look here. This is the Rational Wiki. Alright, so it says here, the guillotine was the infamous height reduction device favored by the winning side of the French Revolution, meaning they was beheading Haitians, Israelites. It says here, the driving force behind the intervention was to produce a humane form of capital punishment, as death was thought to be instantaneous and painless. Whether this goal is completely achieved, it is debatable, but nevertheless, it was considerable improvement over previous methods such as beheading by sword or axe, unless the executor is really skillful, and it often required multiple strikes to sever a head. And the first strike did not always result in death or hanging before modern hanging, which is calculated to kill instantly by snapping the victim's neck. But most hangings were involved slow, agonizing death by strangulations, but not to mention the more demonstrative ways of medieval torture execution, such as breaking on the will. Okay? So this is basically a torture device, but nonetheless, man, like I said earlier, this thing is coming back in a big way. Alright? And they talking about the guillotines and the rapture, which the rapture is really fiction. Okay, but they did quote Revelation, the 20th chapter, which I'm going to go into that actually. But it says, as a consequence, believers in the rapture often interpret this to be the guillotine, particularly the rapture porn such as Left Behind. But more mainstream whack jobs, they call it a whack job, such as Rick Sanatorium would eventually say so publicly, a large number of the more lunatic Christians believe that a vast number of guillotines are already in storage in the U.S., presumably in preparation for their use by the beast, which the beast is this system. Ultimately, they are to be used by the New World Order, Okay, and that's actually true. But it says some crackpots are spreading that a Georgia state bill is the beginning of the guillotine apocalypse in America. And the bill was HB 1274 from the 1995-1996 session, which have allowed the condemned prisoner to choose electrocution or guillotine, and the latter should they wish to be donated their organs. But the bill went nowhere. But that didn't stop them from thinking that just because the bill was proposed and Ted Garnerson said so, that there was already guillotine stockpile in America. Alright? So basically, they're trying to scoff at the fact that these things exist, but come on, man. Esau, Edom, and it even broke it down here, where you go into the time of the Romans and the Greeks, they believed in torture. Like, matter of fact, it was part of this article I was just reading. It says here, let me go back. And this was modern day, though. It says it was used in Germany. Alright, and then you got Belgium, Italy, and Sweden, and Luxembourg. And when the Nazis rose to power in Germany, they extended the use of the guillotine on beheading felon, convicted criminal, and dissidents. Okay? So it said they beheaded over 40,000 to 60,000 people. So this ain't far-fetched, man. Esau, Edom just being the devil. But nonetheless, brothers, man, we're going to be tried here. And some of us may get beheaded. That's part of the scriptures, man. Paul, he was beheaded. You know, Peter was crucified. Yahushua was crucified. John the Baptist, or the Apostle John the Baptist, his head was decapitated, man. Alright? Alright, which shows that this will happen to the men of the Lord, man. The scriptures say they will persecute us, man. Okay? So this is the book of Mark the 6th chapter, verse, I'm going to start at verses 20. It says, for Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man and holy, and observed him. And when he heard me, he watched him. Just like Esau, Edom, they're watching us now. They're watching us and they're listening to us. Just like as we pump these shows out, it says, and when he heard him, he did many things and heard him gladly. And when a convenient day was come, meaning a set appointed time, or when a day that was best for Esau to make his move, it says that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee. And when his daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced and pleased Herod and them that sat with him, the king said unto the damsel, ask of me whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it thee. And she swore unto her, whatsoever thou ask of me, I will give it thee until thy half my kingdom. And she went forth and said unto her mother, what should I ask? And she said, the head of John the Baptist. Okay, so he was beheaded, man. All right, and she went forth, and she came in straightway with haste unto the king, and asked, saying, I will give that thou give me by and in a charger the head of John the Baptist. And the king was exceedingly sorry, yet for his oath's sakes, and for their sakes which sat with him, he could not reject her. And immediately the king sent the executioner, and commanded his head to be brought, and he went and beheaded him in prison. So he was locked up, man. He was locked up, even though he knew he was a righteous man of the Lord. He did it anyway, and he cut his head off, man. And it's going to happen to some brothers out there, man. You know, it could be me, it could be brothers anywhere, it could be apostles, anybody, man. You know, this is not an uncommon thing that happens to the men of the Lord. We were persecuted. Alright? And it says, and brought his head in the charger, and gave it to the damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. So there you go, man. He was beheaded. It's going to happen, brothers. You know, and you can't marvel at that, but you can't be afraid either. Okay? So this is the book of Acts. What was the one he slayed? I think it's Acts, the 12th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So this is the book of Acts 12:1. It says, now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword, put him to death. So it was not an uncommon thing that we were being killed off by these heathens, man. That's just the job that the men of the Lord got to go through. That's just part of the, you know, the affliction the Lord put on us. You know, and it's going to come back to that in the times we're living in. And brothers, we got to stay faithful because, hey, they got them guillotines here, all right? They got guillotine. You can look it all up to see what Google do. They do what they call a disinformation search. And what happens is they filter out a lot of information that's true and they try to get it off the web. But a couple of years ago, you was able to pull this article up and they was going into the type of guillotines that they had stored. Now it may be hard to find because Esau, Edom know the prophecies are coming out. But nonetheless, brothers, you know, we got to prepare ourselves because this can very well be us. All right. So this is the book of Revelation 2:10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some into you in prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. And be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." All right. So, just marvel not at it, brothers. You know, it's gonna happen. You know, not all of us, but some brothers are gonna be put to death. You know. Let me find another precept here. I'm looking for the precept. Give me 1 second, brothers. Yep, this is the book of Revelation 6, and I will start at 9. It says, "And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, and for the testimony which they held." Testimony is this truth, condemning Esau Edom, so-called white man. You know, bringing out this art, bringing out the truth, telling them that they're going down. They don't want to hear that, you know. One thing about a devil, when you tell the truth about him, hey, he gets very irate. Because one thing that kills this devil is the truth, man. Okay? And that is what it is. Okay? So this is the book of Luke 21. And I'm going to start at verses 12. It says, "But before all these things they shall lay their hand on you and persecute you, delivering you up to synagogues and into prisons, being brought before the kings and rulers for my name's sake." Okay? And it says here, and it should turn to you for a testimony. And we just read that they were slain for the testimony of the Most High, the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. "But settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what ye shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom which all your adversaries should not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye should be betrayed by both parents and brethren and kinsfolk and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye should be hated of all men for my name's sake." So there you go, man. The Lord is already warning us. You know, like he said, some of them, they should kill you because they think they do the Lord's service. You know, but anyway, my break is up. But anyway, I want to bring out this last precept. This is the book of Revelation 20, and I will start at 4. It says, "And I saw thrones and them that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai and of the word of the Most High," which is the precept of Revelation 6 we just read. "And the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the anointed 1,000 years." So right here proves that they got something set up for that particular cause. Because if they didn't, then why is this a future prophecy talking about beheadings, which proves that Esau's full of shit? All right, they got guillotines here. They got FEMA camps. They got different methods of tortures. They can impel you with stink, which is a slow, agonizing death, man. But hey, there's some things that brothers may have to go through. You know, so count upon yourself to suffer worthy for Yahweh Shai's sake. And with that, all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, that belongs to the elders, the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, as known as the gospel bride, living up the standard of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. And with that, shalom and above.